Rabbi Wilhelm, I'm so happy to see you.
Yeah, what are you happy about?
Yes, I'm happy. I'll tell you what I'm happy, because basically I really enjoy your year-long videos, your Purim Torahs. And now that it's actually Adar and Purim, like, this is it. What? This is where you get it all from.
So it's you're saying everything I say is made up, Purim Torahs. They are jokes. I don't like that. I'm a serious man, you know that.
Yes, you're very, very serious.
Okay, so this Rosh Chodesh today. We're celebrating Rosh Chodesh Adar, and when you Besimcha is the same letters as Machshava. So the way to become Besimcha is to use your mind. Use your mind and think about what's going on, and how can't you become Besimcha? Think how great and how kind the Eibishter is. Well, let's talk about the Parsha. I just thought about something very interesting. In the Parsha, it's all about the Mishkan, which eventually is also about the Beis HaMikdash. And the famous pasuk that every Lubavitcher boy knows from Basi Ligani. They don't know it's a pasuk in Chumash, they know from Basi Ligani. V'asli Mikdash shachanti b'soicham. Right? The Eibishter says, make me a dwelling place. The Medrash says a beautiful mashal for this. The Medrash says that there was a melech, a king, and he had a child, one and only child, and the one and only child got married. Very good. But comes a time, the child says, I think I have to move to a different city or to my in-laws to grow, and for whatever reason, he was moving away.
Very diplomatic.
Right. And the king, he doesn't want to stop him. He wants to give his child his opportunity, but at the same time, it's his only child. So he says to the son, fine, Geg isn't the hate. You go wherever you want. But one thing I ask of you, make me one place where whenever I want to come, wherever I show up, designate and dedicate one place for me.
I think the Frierdiker Rebbe brings this mashal.
Oh, you're good. So the mashal is broad that the Eibishter is saying, Yingalach, Meidalach, Kindalach, Jews, wherever you are, make sure I have a place to show up and say hi. All right? I was just thinking about this. The Rebbe took that mashal a step higher. How? Many, many good Jews have homes, and they have a back house for achnasas archim, or a floor, a basement for achnasas archim, and they're very generous people. They dedicate. The Rebbe says, no, don't give me a back house. Don't give a upstairs floor. Make your home the Beis Chabad, Mikdash Ma'at. Everywhere about. The Eibishter doesn't want to just put him in the back house or in the basement. The Eibishter wants your living room, your dining room. So the Rebbe instituted that every home should be a Beis Chabad, every home should be a Mikdash Ma'at. Every home you drill a pushka into the wall. It's not, okay, that's holy, and over here I play football. No, it doesn't work that way. Everything about every Jewish home is holy.
I need like a story or something.
You need a prune Danish, that's what you need. Okay, last thing. If you look at the Mefarshim, the details of the Kalim of the Mishkan are so special, so symbolic for lofty things. The Balaturim knocks it out of the park, one after another. He says, it says 10 times Vasisa in this Parsha. It remembers the Mishkan, the Beis HaMikdash is remembers to Asara Ma'amaris. Every one of the Kalim is symbolic for something very rich, very special. But there's one of the Kalim, or one of the things in the Beis HaMikdash that you don't really talk about too much. And we always like to deal with the underdogs, right? So we'll talk about that one. The Kapairos. Sure, everybody knows about the Aron and the Mizbeach and the Shulchan and the Menorah. What do you know about the Kapairos? What's me? What's your name? Philly? What do you know about the Kapairos?
Mordechai.
Oh, today for Adar you changed the name to Mordechai. The Kapairos was the cover. I asked somebody, I was teaching the Chumash to somebody. I said, what's the, how do you say Kapairos in English? He says the lid. Oh, it sounds like a pot lid. Okay, the Kapairos is the cover on the Aron, and on top of the Kapairos there was Kruvim. How do you say Kruvim in English? That I really don't know. Cherubs. Now that sounds like a really. Is the guy when you say cherubs, he knows what it means?
But of course, bevadai. What do you mean?
Bevadai.
Let's ask a guy right now.
Okay, So there were kruvim. What are they all about? There's so many rich lessons from the kruvim. First of all, the kruvim are on top of the aron. The aron symbolizes Torah. You learn. The kruvim are on top. It's symbolic for little. According to some, it looked like little features of little children. Babies. Thank you. It shows you that chinuch of your children is on top, is even more important than taking care of yourself. Make sure there's a legacy. Make sure it lasts. Make sure the education for the children. But then, lately I heard somebody saying a very nice thing. He says, Parshas Mishpatim. Parshas Mishpatim is before Parshas Truma. Why? Because Parshas Mishpatim is all about Bein Adam L'Chaverei, and Parshas Truma is about giving money, charity to the Beis Hamikdash. He said, whoa! Before you start collecting money, make sure the money is honest money. You have to know Nishka Gambit, the sticky fingers, all those things. Yeah? You have to know Bein Adam L'Chaverei before Bein Adam L'Mokim. Somebody said a beautiful pshat. The Kruvim were Pneihem Ish El Achiv. They faced each other. I know Torah. I know spiritual. You feel very high in these spiritual places. Remember, Pneihem Ish El Achiv. Care about another Jew. Care about another Jew. It's all about Bein Adam L'Chaverei. Okay? One last thing, a halachic problem. Because Zushi Lamashal has this, must have the shaila. The Rishonim ask, how was it even allowed to be a feature of a baby or of a bird? There is in Aseres Adibris says Anoich Hashem Elokecha, and then it says Lo Yisaseh Lecha Fesel V'chol Temuna. You're not allowed to make structures. You're not allowed to make statues. Who?
Yeah, statues.
Statues in the Beis Hamikdash. In the Kodesh HaKadoshim, I have a who?
Kruvim.
I'll tell you a piece of information that you might not even know. In 770, there is a sign that goes up every Shabbos Mevarchim about the announcement of Shabbos Mevarchim and the Moiled. So if I remember when that sign was put up, so there's a sign, but there's also a picture of the moon. I remember the talk was that Rabbi Marlow said, whoa, you can't have a picture of a moon in a shul. Because the moon is some goyim served the sun and the stars in the moon. Yeah. So if you look closely, I'm teaching you something. There's a slash in the middle of the moon. It's not a whole moon. It's,
oh, really?
Right. So, by the way, the real moon doesn't have slashes in between it. That's to make it shouldn't be. So what's going on in the Kodesh HaKadoshim? We have a Temuna.
What's going on over here? I'm outraged.
Yeah. So the Rishonim answer this question, and they say two things. We find by Shlomo Melech, that he also had a royal throne. He had golden lions, and then he had animals made out of silver or copper. What's going on? You're not allowed to. So the answer is like this, and this is perhaps a good lesson. What's the problem with we're making the statues and structures and all? Is because some wackos are going to serve it as a getchka. They're only going to serve something as a getchka when it stands there like it could look like an idol. Shlomo Melech, when he had those animals out of gold or silver, they were carrying things. No king is carrying anything. No idol. Idol is here to serve. Idol's here that you serve him, not to serve somebody else.
Well, it's like a servant.
Right. Same thing over here. Some Rishonim say that when the Keruvim, the troops, what are they called?
Cherubs.
Cherubs. When the cherubs are on top of the Aron, so they're not really placed in the place of royalty. They're on top of the Aron, spread out, and they're looking like they're Pneihem Ishal Achiv. I'm here to serve you. I'm not here. No idol's here to serve you. You're him. You're there to serve him.
Beautiful point.
So everything about the Beis Hamikdash is obviously spirituality, but Pneihem Ishal Achiv. Always care about somebody else.
Thank you so much for your Purim Torah.